Hello once again, everyone. First of all, I hope that you all enjoyed your holidays and time spent doing what you like with the people you like, but seeing as though that I missed my opportunity to share with you all the findings of my horror game excursion of 2025, I feel like we're well overdue. Horror is a genre of games I've fallen in love with over these past few years, and as per my annual tradition of doing a marathon of them, I feel like I found quite a few gems this year, both new and old, that you will all enjoy. So for the next few weeks, I'll be uploading a bite-sized review video of each game that I've played. Now put down the eggnog, stop the New Year's countdown and take off those ugly sweaters, and sit back with some pumpkin pie and enjoy our annual delve into the world of horror games. Oh, hello. Oh, that's a lot of them. That's a lot of zombies. Johnny, what were you expecting? So, do any of you remember that era of RPG Maker horror games, such as Ebe, Mad Father, The Crooked Man, or Angels of Death? Well, The Witch's House is one of those types of games, made back in 2012, and according to my Twitch chat, was among the highest favorite of that style of game, which seems to be backed up by the Steam reviews and cursory ratings I find on Google. Turns out it was loved well enough to get a prequel manga made 5 years later, which, after having played the game, makes me really want to read it. So there is a good amount of praise, and I guess you could say prestige, about the game, in spite of its age. And whoo boy, does that age show. The resolution, be it on the free download version, which I will put in the description, or the updated Steam version, is definitely made for way back during its inception, where you'd be playing in small little windows that didn't take up the whole screen. Not only that, but the control scheme feels like the game equivalent of ancient Greek tablets with how ancient it is, dating back to the era of Flash games being my main source of entertainment. Boxhead zombies, my beloved. The arrow keys govern your movement, and keys that would feel archaic in today's game design landscape are used. You use X to open your inventory, and you use the Z key to confirm an input. And if you want to interact with something, you need to be not only right next to it and face it, but you need to open your inventory most times and select the appropriate item to use with it. It is admittedly pretty janky, but in an endearing sort of way, like looking at old Polaroids your grandparents took when they were kids. But you know what isn't ancient about this game? The visual design. The visual presentation is honestly timeless. I played the Steam version, but even from the outset, the pixel art is a feast for the eyes, and is vibrant and colorful while remaining appropriately soft in the right places. Hell, Viola's hair even sways in the wind, which is a detail I would not have expected from an RPG Maker game, let alone one originally made in 2012, even if it got remastered many years later. Not only that, but the art direction for some parts of the house, and even the witch herself, have just this particular charm to them that I find myself enamored with. It's honestly a decently large contributing factor as to my desire for reading the manga. As for the premise, it's quite straightforward. You are trapped in the witch's house and you need to escape. But as for the question as why you're there and trying to escape, the game gives you plenty of context with diary entries from the witch herself as you explore her house. It is explained through these diary entries that she has a horrible illness that has left her isolated from the outside world, and hurt her so much that she felt lonely and scorned by even her parents, so she ends up killing everyone around her. There are even more details that get revealed if you take certain actions to achieve 2 of the 4 total endings in the game, but both of these endings completely recontextualize the story, so I'll do what I can to refrain from sharing them here. The only thing I'll say is, remember the drawer early on in the game. But what is it like to actually go through this game? Well, it is an incredibly short experience. It took me 2 hours to go through the whole thing, and about an hour or so attempting to play through the game without saving in order to get an add-on to whichever ending you get that adds even more context. And within those 2 hours, it is a very tight and satisfying gameplay loop that is very similar to Signalis, actually. Each floor has at least 1 to 3 rooms that all have relatively simple puzzles that aren't actually hard to complete, but requires more attentive searching and or lateral thinking to accomplish. And when you do succeed at those puzzles, it feels incredibly satisfying to have figured it out on your own and makes you feel like a genius. Okay, that was not correct. But even when you solve the puzzles and get the satisfaction of feeling incredibly smart, the game still wants you to know the type of story that's being told, the type of environment you're in, and the type of person the witch is. Very often, the solution to a puzzle, or the aftermath of one, will have some kind of grim twist to it, or be particularly brutal or grim with its punishment if you get it wrong. People who have played the game will look at these two images, and will understand. And I mean, honestly, I feel like that's a good enough summary for what's endeared me to this game. I find the art style and presentation to be quite enjoyable, the premise to be quite interesting, especially after getting essentially all the endings, and the actual gameplay loop to be incredibly satisfying, all in spite of how janky and archaic the control scheme is. I would highly recommend you play this game, and even support it by getting it on Steam. It is $15 though, so while that may be a bit steep for a 2-hour experience, I find it to be quite worth it, as well as reading the manga as a follow-up if you can get it.